Hey everybody, how we doing? Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Navy.5184 here. Thank you all for joining me live as we talk about our play-in round for the fan vote best K-pop tournament. So if you saw me on my, excuse me, I just doing a little quick something here. There we go. So if you're here a couple weeks ago when I was doing my Big Bang reactions, I talked about this tournament that I was going to do, this fan vote, and I shared the bracket for this tournament we're doing just for fan voting, and we have what's technically the play-in round because it's just 2 matches, and now we're getting ready to go into the quarterfinals. So we're going to go ahead, for those of you that weren't here for that, the play-in round, and again, the seed numbers were chosen randomly, so I had nothing to do with that. Me and my brother each picked 5 K-pop groups, and we just put them in a list, and they were randomly seeded, and that's how it went. And we did turn out to make it to where what's the word I'm looking for? It could be one side was boy groups and one side was a girl group. So on one side we had Shiny versus EXO, and Shiny won that match. Oh, excuse me. Choking on my own stuff here. So Shiny won that match. I kind of oh my goodness. Hopefully I get through this all right. So third time's a charm, right? Waiting for it. Okay. So I did expect Shiny to win that match. I think I expected to be a little closer than what it was though. Shiny. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that will get me straight. Wow. So sorry, guys. So sorry about that. Alright. So, the percentage ratio that Shiny won, it was 72 to 28. So they won it pretty handily. I was expecting it to be closer, but I did expect Shiny to win. The other match, on the other hand, did not go the way I thought. It was Twice versus BLACKPINK. I expected BLACKPINK to win this. Twice won by 1 vote. Literally 1 vote made the difference in that match. Twice won that. It was a percentage ratio of 53 to 47. It was, for the first couple hours of it, I noticed it was like pretty much 50-50 pretty much the whole time, and BLACKPINK did have a lead at one point, but then it's like once Twice got their lead, they never lost it. They did look like they were going to start to kind of run away with it, but then BLACKPINK started making a comeback, but unfortunately they just couldn't catch up. So now that I've already told you the results on that, we will go ahead and take a look at the updated bracket. So as you can see on the screen right there, Shiny defeated EXO, and they are now in the quarterfinals. They will be facing ATEEZ. Twice defeated BLACKPINK, and they will be going into the quarterfinals facing Red Velvet. And like I said, the thing about these tournaments, I always have one round, one match that always kind of just goes different than what I expect. Usually I don't see something like this in the very first round. You know, I've had some surprises, but I was not expecting BLACKPINK to lose. And I'm not going to call it an upset, because technically if BLACKPINK would have won seeding wise, that would have been quote unquote an upset since they were the 10 seed. But really, if you think about it, you know, I would imagine that even the more casual K-pop fans, even just music fans in general, know who BLACKPINK is, and I just kind of felt that was going to really carry them through this tournament. But they didn't even make it past the first round. So I gotta say, this was quite a shock for me. So we got, oh, here, hold on, I actually forgot to okay, I can't do it since it's the image, but it's going to be Twice against Red Velvet. And then we'll also have Black Swan versus 50/50. Now this one is probably going to be a very curious one for me, and I'll tell you why. So first off, Black Swan is my favorite K-pop group, and I will admit that I am pretty biased when it comes to when it comes to Black Swan. So I know I myself would vote for Black Swan, but I feel like 50/50 would probably win off more popularity. Now here's the thing though. Based off what I've seen and the sentiment of 50/50, I feel like I could see Black Swan moving on to the semifinals, more so because there's probably going to be, I feel like there would be more people that are going to vote against 50/50 rather than for Black Swan. Now, that's hard for me to say because in terms of, I've done some K-pop reactions on here and Black Swan's usually done pretty well for me. So in terms of people who actually follow my channel, I could see Black Swan moving on with that too. Because if there's one thing I have learned, Lumina can really show up when they need to. So this one is really hard for me to call, which I think, I honestly feel like just because of how they've performed on my channel, I feel like Black Swan's probably going to move on to the semis. Twice versus Red Velvet. I'm not gonna lie. I think that could be another close match, but I find it hard to imagine Twice not moving forward with that. I mean, honestly, especially with their new comeback that they just had with Strategy. I don't know. You know, I'm starting to learn that maybe Twice is a little more popular than I thought. It maybe even gave them credit for. So I think if I had to pick who I think is going to win this match, I think it's going to be Twice over Red Velvet, which will put the way I think it'll happen will be Twice versus Black Swan in the semifinals, or in the women's final. On the boy group side, ATEEZ versus SHINee. Now, even though this was one that I expected, I think I expected this one to be kind of a close one. This could be one of those sneaky close matches where you think one may have an edge, but this could easily be back and forth. It could be exactly what we just had with Twice and BLACKPINK, where it could literally be a one vote difference. But if I'm gonna put my money on anybody, it's gonna be SHINee. Though ATEEZ, I think, could put up a really good fight in that battle. So I foresee SHINee making it past ATEEZ. Stray Kids and Big Bang. I am not gonna lie, this one's kind of a hard one for me to pick because I know more Stray Kids songs than I know Big Bang songs, and I really love me some Stray Kids. But the little bit of Big Bang that I have seen, I really love Big Bang from what I've seen so far. And I don't know. This one is literally like a coin flip for me. Like literally right now I could say Big Bang, but then maybe 2 hours later I might go with Stray Kids. But if I'm really, if I was absolutely forced to pick a winner, I'm going Big Bang. But I would not be surprised at all if Stray Kids wins this match either. But if I had to pick one, I think Big Bang takes this one. So with that said, that would put Big Bang versus SHINee in the men's finals and for the tournament semifinals. So I won't go to any more predictions there because good lord. I gotta say, I think all of these are going to be pretty interesting matchups, and all for very different reasons too. Like I said, I think Twice versus Red Velvet, I feel like will probably be the one match that I feel like will probably have the most gap in between the votes. I feel like, I'm not going to say Twice is going to win handily, but I feel like that they would probably be the ones they'll have the more comfortable. Like out of the 4 matchups, I think Twice would have the more comfortable victory. Honestly, I think it's going to be the boy groups are going to be really the close ones. Because, again, Black Swan and 50/50, it's just hard for me to really pick which one I really feel like. Because, I just think about how popular, 50/50 was in the day, especially, in the days of Cupid. But then it's just so, I just see so much negative feelings towards 50-50 now that I don't know. I mean, maybe Black Swan may even have the more comfortable victory. Because I gotta really think. Red Velvet, you know, is a pretty popular group as well. They're actually one of the first K-pop groups I kind of really started to listen to a little bit more often. You know, when I kind of started getting into K-pop more often. So, very interesting, I will say. So, but I think my final choices for what I think is going to happen, I think Twice over Red Velvet, Black Swan over 50-50, Big Bang over Stray Kids, Shiny over ATEEZ. And that's how I think this round is going to go. So, let me go ahead and switch to another screen here because I am making a little bit of a change to how I do the polls. Because before, what I would do is I would just pick a day and say, you know, we have so many hours to vote on this, you know, and I was trying to think of a way to make it work. But I think what I might actually do now, because I seen another channel that was kind of doing a tournament like poll, kind of like what I'm doing, and I've noticed that what they did is they put all the matches, they would put them all on the same day, and then just, you know, people would just go to the, you know, post section and then look through each one, and, you know, there they are. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So Monday at noon, well, actually no, tomorrow at noon, because I'll have all these ready by noon tomorrow. So tomorrow at noon, the quarterfinals will start. All 4 matches are going to be available for you to vote on. You know, and I'll do match 1, match 2, match 3, match 4. That way, it'll be easier to go. So there's going to be 4 matches, and we're going to have ATEEZ versus Shiny, Stray Kids versus Big Bang, Red Velvet versus Twice, and Black Swan versus 50-50. All 4 of those will be put up tomorrow at noon. Actually, I take that back. I won't put them all up at the same time, but I'll just get them all up tomorrow. So we'll just go 1 hour increments. So ATEEZ and Shiny will be available at noon, and this is all Eastern time. So at noon Eastern, we'll have ATEEZ and Shiny. At 1, we'll do Red Velvet versus Twice. 2, we'll do Stray Kids versus Big Bang. And 3, we'll do Black Swan versus 50-50. And that's how that will work. So that's what we're looking at for the tournament right now. And honestly, I can't wait to see what you guys do. You guys always make this really so much fun. But one thing that I am going to do, and this is something that I add, because usually when the rounds end, I like to try to do a live stream and just kind of talk about how the rounds went, you know, and give my thoughts on what's coming up. But now what I'm going to do, since I'm starting to do more live reactions, I am actually going to react to the parties that were eliminated. So with that said, we are going to get a couple of reactions here. Give me a second here. I'm just working on getting everything set up for it. So with EXO and BLACKPINK being the eliminated parties, those are the 2 that we'll be reacting to today. So we will start with EXO, and I'm going with their song Monster. So full disclosure, this is a song I don't think I've heard fully. I've heard bits and pieces of the song that's like, when I kind of hear it, I kind of recognize it, and you know, when I do hear it, I really find myself vibing hard to it. But not seen the music video and not heard the song fully, so really actually looking forward to this. Pretty much every new thing with K-pop I've gotten into, I've really thoroughly enjoyed. So really looking forward to seeing what this music video is, and actually really seeing them in action. This is really gonna be the first time outside of like maybe clips that I've really fully seen them in action. So really looking forward to this. So with all that said, let's go ahead and boom. All right, video set up. Let me unmute the desktop, and then just because I feel my throat getting a little scratchy here. All right, let's do this. Monster by EXO. Oh, no, no, no. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay, I need to recover a little bit. All right, if any of y'all joined me Monday when I did my viewer choice um, live stream, I was watching a video about the scorpions, and there was a scene where there were just a bunch of scorpions getting dropped down, and I was talking about, it's like I can't do arachnids. I can't do arachnids. Yeah, snakes falls in that same category. I had to recover. It's like I saw that and I'm like, please tell me that's not a snake. Please tell me it's not a snake. Sure enough, it was a snake. Hopefully we don't see that again. Just had to get that off my chest. I gotta say, this is a pretty interesting video. Alright, I have to make a quick admission here, because now that I'm listening to this, I'm starting to think I'm getting this song mixed with something else. Because this isn't sounding like what I remember. That being said, I still am very much enjoying this. I gotta say, it's very interesting because I think about when I watched Fantastic Baby by Big Bang, and this one, I'll check after I'm done with this, see how long it goes, but I feel like this was quite a few years ago too. I'm really starting to notice, like, I feel like the older music videos, like from the older groups, really felt like they had a lot more edge to them. I mean, and not even just like with the videos themselves. I mean, just like the whole aesthetic of everything. There just seems to be such an edge to it. Whereas music videos nowadays, not saying that they don't, but I don't know. I just don't get, like, I'm looking at, like, I think about this, Fantastic Baby. Those videos felt so much more raw than what I'm used to seeing. And maybe it's just the evolution of it, but I gotta say, I think it's just because this feels so different than what I'm used to with the more modern K-pop videos. I gotta say, it's kind of a welcome change. I mean, even the fashion. Jeez. Okay, never mind. This is what I think of. I feel a little better about myself now, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Alright, so I know I touched on it a little bit, but I just, again, it's just a thought that is just so reoccurring and just running hard through my mind. It's just, I don't know if I want to go with the term edgy, even though, yes, that is the sense I'm getting. But there is definitely something very, like, really rough about this. And I really appreciate that. And honestly, I gotta wonder if this is kind of like what their MO was. Because when I say that, like, I would imagine that, like, with most groups, especially when they've been around for a while, they have this point where they have, like, their own sound where you hear, like, the song. You can even hear, like, how it starts, and you're like, oh, this has to be a number by this group. Like sometimes, like the best analogy I can use is like a guitarist. Like if you hear like a certain like riff, you're like, oh, that's definitely like a Stevie Ray Vaughan song because you recognize the guitar style, or you get like that sensation with somebody like maybe Jimmy Page, Hendrix. You definitely know Prince. You know, you can tell. You know, like you get these artists where it's like they are so good they've crafted like their own sound that you can hear the sound and you don't even have to hear the whole song or hear any singing. You just hear the sound and you're like, that's who this is. I almost feel like I kind of get that sense with Big Bang when I was listening to that, and I'm really kind of getting that as I'm watching EXO. Like I think about the times like I said, I've heard clips of the song, but now that I'm really listening to it fully for the first time and watching the video and having seen how long they've been in the game, I can't help but wonder. I feel like they would fall in that group to where you hear it and you're like, dude, that's got to be an EXO song. And you don't even have to hear any singing. I feel like they have their own sound that you're like, you know it's them. Oh, what is going on here? Oh. Yo, go easy on my guy. Woo. Why do I got a feeling Chaos is about to sue in that van? Yo, that was a solid rap line right there. Very solid all around, I gotta say. Okay, nicely done. I liked it. Give me a second here. Probably
this is Wix Studio. Built.
I'll go ahead and close that since that's just going to the next video we're gonna watch anyways. Yeah, I gotta say that was pretty fun. That was a fun video. Definitely need to probably check out some more EXO stuff. But here's the other thing that's kind of getting me right now. Is like as I listen to that, I'm actually kind of surprised that they lost as big as they did. I mean, I know I expected it to be somewhat close, and I think EXO was actually a group that my brother actually had put in here. But I mean, just listening to them, I'm honestly surprised they didn't put up as much of a fight as they did. I feel like that match with them and SHINee should have been a lot closer than what it was. If you are new here and wondering what in the world I'm talking about, it's because I'm having a fan vote tournament, and SHINee eliminated EXO in the first round. I already closed my bracket, so I don't remember what the percentage was. I'm opening it up real quick. But yeah, SHINee won by a ratio of 72% to 28%, so they won pretty handily. And honestly, I feel like after listening to that, I'm surprised it wasn't more closer to a 60-40 type of ratio, because EXO sounds like they definitely could have had the fan base to pull off something to make that close. But again, that's the whole thing, you know, you just never know with these fan vote tournaments, you know, especially, you know, who gets wind of them. You know, I don't know how the posts get distributed to everybody. All I know is that, you know, sometimes the final results aren't exactly what I expect, and that really goes definitely with match 2. But in terms of what I just reacted to, I definitely feel like I need to get some more EXO into my repertoire, whether it's doing actual reactions to them or just finding their stuff and just listening to it on my own. Much like I ended up doing with the next group we're going to react to, which before Black Swan came around and really threw up my rankings with their song Cat and Mouse. BLACKPINK was probably the group that I would have said that was my favorite group. But like I said, Black Swan took that over, but before Black Swan there was BLACKPINK. Which ironically enough, it was actually BLACKPINK that introduced me to Black Swan, because I think it was my Boombaya reaction where somebody suggested that I react to Karma by Black Swan, and you know, that was how that whole thing started. But going back to BLACKPINK, I mean, what was the first song I reacted to? I want to say it was How You Like That. I know I did that, and then I did their song with Selena Gomez, Ice Cream, Pink Venom, Lovesick Girls, Boombaya. I know I reacted to all of those, and I think it was after Boombaya, because Boombaya is still not only my favorite BLACKPINK song, I think I still have that rated as well, actually, it's probably down to number 2 in terms of my favorite K-pop songs right now. Because Fantastic Baby is probably number 4 for me. Like, if I'm going like my top all-time K-pop songs, I won't spend too long on this so I can get back on track, but just because I brought it up, I'm probably going to put Fantastic Baby at 4 by Big Bang, Cat and Mouse by Black Swan at number 3, Boombaya at number 2, and APT by Rose and Bruno Mars at number 1. Like, you just give me those 4 songs, I'm set for like K-pop for life. I'm not even gonna lie. I've literally binged those songs, just those songs. Like, I could listen to those songs just by themselves on repeat for hours at a time. And I have done that. That's why they're rated where they are. You know, I love me a bunch of other songs on there, you know. Like, honestly, I think, what would I put 5? Because I did 4. I might as well round out my top 5. What would number 5 be? If I had to pick, I would probably go, I feel like I would probably go at this moment with Identity by SHINee. Would probably be my number 5 all time. If I had to pick. That actually might be something I might... whatever. We'll worry about that some other time. But in the meantime, let's go ahead. We're going to get onto BLACKPINK. And the video I chose is from their 2023 Coachella performance, Typa Girl. And what I was talking about before I went on this whole other tangent, I was talking about BLACKPINK, about how really after Boombaya, it got to a point where I'm like, okay, I can't just wait until I do another reaction to them, because, you know, sometimes it will take me so long in between a reaction to a group that, you know, I kind of forget. But then it's like, I just had to hear more BLACKPINK. So that was when I really started getting into more of their music and learn more of their songs. Amazingly enough, this is actually one song that I missed. So this is actually going to be a fresh reaction for this song, but I really wanted to get a live performance on there because I knew that they performed at Coachella. I'd seen that they'd had videos for it, and I just never got around to watching them. And when I say watching them, I'm not even talking about just reacting. I just mean watching them in general. So really looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to see how the crowd looks. I mean, you hear so many things about the fact that they performed at Coachella. Excuse me one moment. So I understood like how big of a deal it was for them to perform at a place like this. So really looking forward to seeing this performance. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm still trying to get over the fact that they lost. I was not expecting to be doing a BLACKPINK reaction today. If anything, I probably was not expecting to get one until the day of the finals. Man, absolutely crazy. Y'all know how to make this fun though, so let's go ahead, get prepped up. All right, Got that set. Got that set. Got this unmuted. All right, we got Typa Girl live at Coachella by BLACKPINK. I already like it. I'm not talking about song. I'm talking about look. Wow. Yo. That is what you call an entrance. Got Jenny starting it off. Oh, here comes Lisa. Oh no, there's Jenny. Why did I think Rose was Jenny? Yo, that stage is insane. I don't even know what to think about this right now. Y'all, this is... I don't even know what to say right now. I'm not even lying. Okay, I am trying very hard to give some sort of thoughts about this. First of all, the simplicity of this song. And actually, now that I think about it, well, no, I can't really say that with a lot of their songs. Cause I'm not going to say their songs are complex. This song seems a lot more simple than what I'm used to with them. But yet, good Lord, is it catchy as hell. I mean, I can't even put my finger on what's making it so catchy. And, man... I need y'all to do me a favor, and if y'all know any other links of like anything where they have like performances, please send them, because I'm not gonna lie, this is very impressive. If their concerts are anything like what I'm seeing here, I need to see more. I mean, wow, that is amazing. Actually, I wonder, don't they have something? I'll have to look it up. I know they had like a documentary. I think it was Born Pink. It was like a documentary, I feel like it was like a tour documentary. I hope that's the case, because I may have to try a little harder to find that and watch it, because I'm very interested to see like what their live performances are like, because y'all, this is really some fire work right here. They're doing amazing. I mean, everyone. Thought that sounded a little quiet. These ladies are something else. I know it's edited, but man, I wish I could hear the crowd. Oh, I say that right as they end. Wow. Wowee. Y'all. You know, I'm getting to the point now where I feel like I'm going to say this every time I do one of these live streams. I just think about the advantage of recording reactions, because after this performance, I honestly probably would have had to pause the recording and literally take some notes on what I would want to say in my closing monologue, because right now I have nothing. That was amazing. That was my first time. I know I can't really say it's my first time really seeing a performance, because I know I reacted to something they did with Last Christmas, but I mean, I guess it just wasn't on the scale of this. Like, I really feel like this was more of like an actual performance. Like really, this really felt like my first real live performance of watching them, and I just, jeez. What does one say? I mean, the stage presence that they all had, they all owned that stage. They all commanded everybody's attention. And I'm sitting here trying very hard, and this is something else I'm going to admit, whether I'm doing this live or recording, I always make it a point to try to make sure I have something to say at parts, instead of just sitting here looking like I'm not gonna say looking like an idiot, but definitely looking dumbfounded and just letting the videos play, you know, because I know that that's something that will really increase chances of the stream getting blocked or the video getting blocked, you know, for copyright, and for obvious reasons. You know, I'm not even complaining about copyright. It's just the way it is. And I know that there's steps I have to do to make sure that I'm, you know, doing this right, and making sure that it's not just simply, oh, hey, you know, I can't find the original video, but hey, I can watch it through this. This is not meant to be a substitution, you know, for you to listen to whatever it is I'm reacting to. But sometimes I watch these videos and I'm just sitting here like, that it almost turns in that way. And then I get to the point where I have to try to give some sort of analysis, and I can't. And again, that's where the advantage of recording is, because then at least I can pause the recording, take my time to gather some thoughts, and then I can unpause the recording and then get to it. And unfortunately, when I'm live, I can't quite do that. Any of you who are WWE fans know the infamous mistake that good old Psycho Sid made when he was doing an interview. He screwed up, and he's like, oh, can we do that again? Oh, we're live, pal. No, we can't go back and do that when we're live. And you know, but at the same time, it's probably nice because at least you all get a nice view of, you know, really what happens with that. So wow, that was a lot of fun, and I'm very sorry to see them go so early. Very sorry. Like I said, I was not expecting to get to a BLACKPINK reaction until near the end of this tournament, but here we are at the end of the play-in round, and they're gone. So wow, I guess that's really all I got. You know, I had a feeling this was going to be a short stream. Wasn't really going to be much with it. Not much to really say. You know, like I said, you know, we only had 2 matches to really talk about, 2 reactions to do, and then I already gave my predictions on how I feel it's going to happen with that. And actually, before I do this, let me do one thing real quick. I done I can't believe I did this. So give me a sec. I'm just updating the bracket here, and then I'm gonna show the real updated bracket to show you what we got coming up. All right, so here's that. Save the changes. All right, there's that. Give me a second. There's still one more thing I gotta do with this. Actually, no. There we go. I'm trying to figure out how to get this full screen on the PDF form, but I don't think I can. That's fine, though. That's fine. I'll still show you what we got. I think you should still be able to see it fine. Alright, there we go. So, there is the real, fully updated bracket. So, as I said, so tomorrow at noon, the poll for ATEEZ versus SHINee will be put up. At 1 o'clock will be Red Velvet versus Twice. 2 o'clock, Stray Kids versus Big Bang. 3 o'clock, Black Swan versus 50/50. And, you know, even after, where are we at? 43 minutes in. So, I think Red Velvet moves past, or I'm sorry, Twice moves past Red Velvet. And then I'm trying very hard to make sure that I'm not saying this with bias, but I honestly feel like Black Swan is going to make it past 50/50 on here. Mainly because, again, for the reasons I stated earlier, because Black Swan has actually performed very well on my channel when I've done videos or a live stream with them. They've always performed well on my channel, so I could see that carrying them to the semifinals. But also, just because of, you know, the negative feelings I've seen towards 50/50, I could see it being more people voting against 50/50 than for Black Swan, and I could see that propelling them too. So I feel like Black Swan is going to make it past the quarterfinals and make it to the semis. So I feel like in the semis it's going to end up being Twice versus Black Swan, which is going to be a very fun battle because Twice is my brother's favorite K-pop group, and Black Swan is mine. So the fact that our favorites could go against each other in the semis, oh, that's gonna be fun. That would be fun. So if nothing else, I hope it works out that way, because that would definitely make for a fun live stream, because I would definitely make sure to have him on for that one. But we'll see about that. And then I think SHINee moves past ATEEZ, and I think Big Bang moves past Stray Kids. I feel like Big Bang versus Stray Kids is probably going to be the closest battle in this round. And I feel like Twice and Red Velvet is going to be the largest margin in this round. Though I feel like this round should be relatively close. I feel like Black Swan and 50/50 also has a possibility of having the largest margin between the victor too. But like I said, we'll just have to see. I just have a feeling that it'll probably be more Twice. I think Twice will win a little more comfortable over Red Velvet. But I think Big Bang and Stray Kids is going to be the closest battle out of them. I could see SHINee and ATEEZ maybe making that close too. But I feel like Stray Kids and Big Bang is going to be the closest battle of them. So like I said, all these polls will be put up tomorrow starting at noon. And then what we'll probably do is they'll start noon tomorrow, and then just like with this round, the voting will end noon next Saturday. And depending on what my schedule is, we will do another live stream to discuss what happened with the quarterfinals too. I think I should be able to do it again. We shall see. But either which way, I do expect that one to be a little longer though. So depending on what I got going on during the day, I may start it earlier, or I may start it later. I may even be in a different location when I do it. Like I said, I'll just have to wait and see what comes up. Can't really plan anything now. The only thing I know for sure is that it will probably be a little longer than this one, because we got 2 more battles to talk about, got the semifinals to talk about, and then we're going to have 4 reactions this time rather than just the 2. So we're basically going to see. So I would imagine people are probably kind of torn, because I could see somebody like, ooh, I'd really love to see him do a SHINee reaction, but then if you want to see me do the SHINee reaction, that means that you would need them to lose. I will say this though, in terms of the reaction, because I know that I said I'm going to react to the groups when they get eliminated. The only time that is not going to be the case is going to be in the finals. And this was something I did with my guitarist tournament. And this is actually, I think that was actually the first time I actually did live reactions on there. Because it was when it was Prince versus BB King in the finals for the best guitarist tournament. And during that live stream, I did a live stream, prior to the ending of that one. And before that ended, we did a BB King reaction and we did a Prince reaction. So that's pretty much going to be the same thing I do with this. Whoever's in the finals, basically we're going to do probably for the last 2 hours of the voting for the finals. At some point we'll do a reaction to whoever the finalists are. So let's say it turned out to be Big Bang versus Black Swan. We would do a Big Bang reaction and then we would do a Black Swan reaction. But either which way, really looking forward to this tournament. You guys have already made this an interesting tournament in the first round. And I swear, you guys, I don't know what it is. Y'all love chaos. You definitely love chaos in here. And you know what? I'm all for it. That's why I love doing these things. I really need to get better at doing these more often. But if you got any ideas for what you'd like to see for future tournaments, definitely let me know and I'll definitely consider them. But in the meantime, thank y'all for stopping by. Definitely feel free to fill out the bracket that you would like to, how you think it's going to go out. If you've already seen the bracket, let me know if it's gone the way you thought it was, or if, like me, twice busted your bracket. Because I'm saying it right now, twice busted my bracket. They busted it, so it's all good. I love the chaos, but either which way, thank y'all for stopping by, and I will catch y'all down the road.